going, everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Plamoism pipeline construction kit, which is, well, you just have to see this thing. Here's what came with the kit. It also included a bonus set of character cards, but before we get into it, let's talk through what came in the package. I did a little digging because I have no idea what Plamoism means, and I really can't find any information. It looks like it's a made-up word. I'm sure it's a reference to something, but I haven't been able to figure that out. The only thing I can tell you is it's a new 5-2 Toys product line. So far, what we've seen publicly is this pipeline construction kit and a couple of others that are yet to be released. One looks like a sphere made of interlocking Chiron pieces, and the other sort of looks like it's a larger version of the pipeline construction kit. It looks like it's compatible with beast boxes and the interlocking box charger system. So yeah, if I'm understanding what 5-2 Toys has been showing off with Prototype, they plan on putting out an actual playset. Which is cool because if you've seen the displays 5-2 Toys has been using for a long time at retail, toy shows, and that kind of thing, they've been using existing action figure sets. And if I remember correctly, the sets they've been using are from a company that ran out of business some time ago. So maybe 5-2 Toys saw that as an opportunity and said, hey, let's just make our own. At any rate, my takeaway from the Plamoism series is they're essentially somewhere between a model kit and a puzzle toy. As far as this kit, I bought it from 5-2 Toys AliExpress store, and at least for the initial release, they included a bonus item. These neon green, almost radioactive looking pieces. Something else I'll say is, I don't remember exactly when I bought it, but it seems like it was barely over a week from Beijing to my doorstep. I don't know what's going on with them lately, but they are shipping incredibly fast, so hey, power to them. And I very much appreciate it. That just gives me license to take a look at this stuff sooner and put out a video a lot sooner also. Another thing that came with this kit is, I guess it's sort of a spudger, so you can dig out the pieces that are fairly flat and flush with the base. It is a nice thoughtful little add-on. But I can't help myself, so let's take a look at some character cards. I got a Nightcrawler, already have one of these. I think I showed that off in my last video. This is a Vaporwave. Here we have a Rusty piece. Cool. Definitely one of my favorite figures. Here's a Claude. Great looking canine. And I got a Delta. I'm not 100% sure if I've got this version of this card, but I definitely have two other cards of this figure. So I feel like I'm getting a lot of repeats with these already. Alright, let's take a quick look at the packaging. One thing I'll say is it's more or less a plain cardboard box, but that's pretty normal for model kits. And this one is really nicely done. I love the line art on it. Got some beautiful details all the way around, information about the kit. While we're looking at this particular model kit / puzzle toy has a few display configurations. It can form a cube as shown, and it can form a flat display, sort of a diorama set piece. Another thing I'll mention is, I was hoping the pricing was going to be minimal. Unfortunately, these things are selling for $23 a pop, which is a good deal higher than I was hoping it'd be. I was thinking $15 would have been about the sweet spot for something like this. To that point, I was hoping to get 4 of these, and I absolutely would have spent $60. But as far as what they're retailing for now, I'm not blowing $100 on these. One way or the other, a single kit looks like it's more than enough to keep me busy. Anyway, more details on the back here, and yeah, it has all these little pieces that can attach to it. Another point of interest is these are compatible with Legos. That is pretty cool. I'm going to pull out my trusty Red Devil and we're going to crack this thing open. And it is a whole lot of stuff. It comes with an instruction booklet, the usual catalogs and whatnot. This is all pretty cool. We've got a bunch of pipes, a bunch of what appears to be corner pipe pieces, connection ports, a bunch of mechanical doodads, and the base plates, of course. I feel like I'm going to need a box to keep all this stuff together. Well, I've got a box handy right here, so problem solved. Here's something really interesting. 5-2 Toys is very much a design company. I mean, they make toys, obviously, but when you get right down to it, they are 100% a design shop. And they like working with a lot of other designers also. So in this case, they coordinated with some dude named Tenseki Moss. I hope I pronounced that right. Don't know who this is, but I'm going to guess they like his work and they wanted to work with him on this. And we got a little bit of a promo for what this guy has done. Apparently this is pretty much his thing. He likes to make dioramas and shapes and things out of industrial objects, apparently. So what we're looking at here is far more detailed in real life than what we have in this package. It's interesting stuff. He definitely looks like somebody to check into. I can't even imagine what the price point on something like that would be. I would actually imagine that there is no price point because it's probably a one-of-a-kind art piece. As far as taking these apart, so it actually says pliers are required. I don't know, I'm just going to take a crack at this and see if I can do it without snippers. But yeah, it's just showing all the pieces that come with it. And yeah, they pretty much have instructions on how to put everything together, but I would imagine by the time you get all these pieces separated, it's really up to your imagination for how to build it. But they do go on to show everything that you could do with it. You can also attach refrigerator magnets to it and stick it on a fridge. You got building blocks, and there again, it's Legos compatible, so that is pretty cool. And you can extend these little pieces, so that's really nice. So there again, that's kind of what I'm missing out on. If these things had been sold a little bit cheaper, I definitely would have gone for it and made a larger shape out of it or whatever. So what else we got here? We got some other shapes that you can make out of this. And yeah, you can obviously get pretty creative with it, so a lot of cool ideas on here. I'm going to start popping these pieces off. Something else I'll say is, I'm not really into model kits. I've steered away from Beast Drive figures because they're assembly required, though I understand a lot of people are really into that kind of thing. But in this case, this one seemed really interesting because it's a literal machine cube, and I really wanted to check this out. A really nice touch is each one of these parts has a placard with 52 Toys logo and Tenseki Moss. And this is really wild, check this out. Copyright 2023. Apparently they started designing this thing 2 years ago and they're just now putting it out on the market, so why it got delayed? I don't know. Sometimes some of these things sit in development and they just want to make sure they get it right before they put it out. That's probably the most likely scenario. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff that comes with this set. There are a lot of cool little parts. There's some interesting curvy connection shapes, straight pipes, curvy pipes, and 90-degree pipes. Short ones, long ones, all interesting shapes, and these corner pipe connector parts. What appears to be exhaust covers, and these little adapter pieces too. This spudger is an interesting piece. So it has a couple of pegs on each side for different size pegs. I'm not exactly sure what you would need that for, but it'll probably be obvious when you do actually need it. It goes without saying, this wedges the business end of this piece. This set came with a bonus set of neon green pipe connection pieces. So let's start figuring out what you can do with this thing. First I'm gonna make it a cube. So one thing this might be used for is storage, because it does come with a lot of extra parts. I don't know, just a thought. Now we have a nice platform to attach a bunch of other cool parts and make it look like an actual machine cube. I'm excited to see what this thing can do. So what I'm finding out is there's a whole lot of mixing and matching that you can do with these pieces. Here's my first opportunity to use the spudger. This thing really does come in handy. I loaded this all the way up and I'm finding there are way more parts than you can actually use. You'd really need another 6 panels to make use out of all of this, so they do give you way more than what you actually need to get the job done. So in the time it's taken me to do an unboxing and review of this thing, I'm not doing it nearly enough justice, to be honest. but I'm going to disassemble this thing and take a shot at its flat mode. But before I get too carried away with that, yeah, it does fit neatly inside of a box charger. Obviously, I already took a lot of pieces off of it, but I think you get the idea. Overall, it really is a clever design. Like I said before, the spudger really does come in handy. Many of these pieces are kind of hard to pick off manually. Now we want to line up all the pieces like so. I'm going to push all these parts out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. This is specifically what these flat connector pieces are for. I believe there's only just enough of these connector pieces to do the flat mode. I would advise up front that you definitely do not want to lose any of these. So there you have it. Now we'll start mixing and matching and making something cool. With the flat mode, there really isn't any room to use these corner pieces unless you're going to try to make a more three-dimensional shape. But in this situation, it makes more sense to use the flat connectors, which look like this. Alright, so I went a little nuts with this, and as you can see, at least as far as the intended layout for the flat mode, I started adding curvy pipes, so you do have the option to make a more three-dimensional diorama out of the flat mode, if you choose. We're going to take a look at one more mode, which will be sort of a container for our 4cm figures. I'm going to use this little guy for my demo. So we're going to take these quarter pipe pieces, a 90-degree bent piece, and we're going to make 3 of these. The peg piece is going to be facing down and away from these pipes. There's 1, 2, and 3. But we also need 3 additional parts. Yeah, the little dude fits right in there. This is clever. Then we're just going to connect the top piece, and this piece connects to the base plate. This is pretty cool. So it's not exactly a snug fit, but the effect really is good. Let's see if we can get it inside a 5cm cube. Nope, it's not going to work that way. But it's still cool that they've thought this out with the pipe system, and I do see some potential interactivity with Beast Box figures. We're going to try one more thing. Alright, so here's another machine cube variant. I'm going to fit it inside of a box charger, and as expected, it totally works. So there's a look at the first release of 5.2 Toys' new Plamoism line, the Pipeline Construction Kit. Obviously, I'm not doing a box grade since it falls out of the scope of that rating system, but I'll tell you, I had fun messing with this thing. To give you a little more context, the video you're watching right now is cut down from about 3 hours of footage that I filmed while I was playing with this thing. Like I said before, if the price was right, I probably would have bought 4, but to be honest, you really only need 1 because I can guarantee you, it'll keep you plenty busy. I recommend it. That's all I got for you today. Likes, comments, or sharing this with a friend are always helpful and appreciated. I've got a lot more content in the works. Word has it that an evolved ape has been spotted out in the wild, and I'm really looking forward to that one. As always, enjoy your life, and I'll catch you in the next one.